Den of Thieves, which is the new film by Gerard Butler.
Oh, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's directed by Christian Gudegast, whose previous credits include a screenwriting credit on London Has Fallen. You remember how much
you loved so much.
How much we enjoyed London Has Fallen. So, the story begins with a bunch of things which tell us that LA is the bank robbery capital of the world. More banks robbed here than anywhere. More banks, you're better, than anywhere else. Apparently, there's a heist every 48 minutes. Moreover, we are in a world in which police and thieves are somewhat
in the street.
That's right. Fighting the nation with their guns and ammunition. Yeah. But they're also indistinguishable. Stop me if you've heard this one. Gerard Butler is he's not so much the bad lieutenant as the obnoxious lieutenant. He turns up to work hungover. He eats donuts at crime scenes. He smokes and drinks too much. He carouses and behaves appallingly to his wife. His home life is falling apart. There's no surprise. I think, actually, we're supposed to feel sorry for him when his wife serves him with divorce papers. But frankly, I was with her all the way. Meanwhile, Pablo Schreiber is Merriman, who is the kind of the head of this criminal crew who are planning a raid. At the very beginning, there is a raid in which they appear to have stolen an empty armoured vehicle. That is the donut scene in which Gerard turns up and eats the donuts. No one can quite figure out why. Why on earth would they steal an empty truck? O'Shea Jackson Jr., who was so great in Straight Outta Compton, and Ingrid Goes West as well, is the sort of schlubby bartender come driver who the cops realise is probably connected with some of the people they're looking for, so they decide to bring him in, smack him around the head, and ask him some tough questions.
Do you know what this means? It means I am a member of a clique.
It's kind of like being in a gang.
Sort of like a gang, only we have badges, which means you are done.
He ain't lying.
Let me ask you this, okay? Do we look like the types who'll arrest you, put you in handcuffs, drag you down to the station? I'm asking you a question.
No, not at all.
Right, exactly. We just shoot you. It's less paperwork.
So, on the one hand, it is basically everything. It's what you wanted. It's a remake of Michael Mann's Heat by the screenwriter of London Has Fallen, with Gerard Butler as Al Pacino.
Okay.
Okay. It also rips off Usual Suspects, Driver, Point Break, French Connection to some extent, and as we said before, Bad Lieutenant. It sounds terrible. It isn't. At least it's not. It's not entirely terrible. There are things about it which are quite interesting. For one thing, despite the fact that he has on his CV the screenwriting credit for London Has Fallen, Gudegast, if that is indeed how you pronounce the name, turns out to be a decent enough moody director. It's working with Georgia locations, but he works around the LA setting quite nimbly, takes time with the story, has sort of, decent enough fun with taking a B-movie premise and turning it into something that feels a little bit more than that. O'Shea Jackson is really, really good. I think actually he's the star of the film. In many ways, he's the most interesting character. You believe in him, you sympathise with him, you're drawn into his confidence, which is absolutely central. The problem, at least for me, was I couldn't get beyond Gerard Butler being Gerard Butler. I mean, I think we're meant to sort of secretly admire his obnoxious methods in the same way that you would admire Gene Hackman as Popeye Doyle in French Connection, or you think, okay, well, they're tough and they're just as bad as the criminals, but on the other hand, they're getting the results. In this case, Big Nick, which is his character, when his wife asks him to leave, you think, yeah, fine, I'm completely with you. So in many ways, it's an odd film. I think Butler is doing his best in it, and it is arguable that the point is his character is so obnoxious that you're meant to simply feel, that's right, he is completely obnoxious and I have no time and I'm finding him very grating. And I think that is arguable. The film itself is recycling riffs that we have all seen done a million times before, and frankly, in better, more high caliber ways. But I kind of enjoyed the setup for the heist. I thought that it was attempting to broaden its canvas slightly more than before. It's certainly a change of gear from some of the absolutely, knuckle-headed vehicles that we've seen Gerard Butler in before. So while I wouldn't say it's good, but I'd say it's not bad, and there were moments in it and individual performances in it that kind of worked and kind of clicked, despite just how fantastically cliche-ridden the setup and the dialogue is. So, a bit of a, what do they call it? As you call it, a curate's egg? A bit of a curate's egg.
Yes.
Although, frankly, on the evidence of some of the players' past movies, a curate's egg is higher than we might have expected.